Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. So today my group will present about the Fatwa in hospitality. These are the list of the presenter. The first one is me, Saidatul Syazwani, binti Saimin. Second one, Muhammad Yazid bin Rahim. And the third one is Nur Ainunnisa Syahirah, binti Ramli.
My name is Nur Ainunnisa Syahirah binti Ramli, and I'll be presenting the introduction. According to the Council Dictionary 4th edition, hospitality means friendly treatment to guests such as visitors and so on. Courses related to tourism as well as providing skills in the hospitality and restaurant industry. Hospitality and tourism are very closely linked. In Islam, it is important to treat and give the best service to the guests. The meaning of good hospitality is what is good and excellent to serve for the guests, such as providing Muslim-friendly hospitality for Muslims guests without any discrimination. There are a lot of issues that arise related to hospitality nowadays, as we are living in the era of modernity and a lot of intrigue. The modern era that is going on now is not a reason for people to set aside manners and value in any situation, including in strengthening the relationship. There are three objectives, which are: the first one is to study the contemporary issues of hospitality, to analyze the fatwa on many aspects in hospitality such as facilities, equipment, attire and accessory, also design and decoration, and lastly to examine the arguments on the fatwa of hospitality. There are two issues that will be discussed in attire and accessories, which are: the first one is employers do not allow Muslims employees to wear Islamic attire and wearing cosplay. So the first issue is employers do not allow Muslims employee to wear Islamic attire. This is not something new in our society, and it has been happening for many years. Sometimes there are some people who are willing to follow the instruction for the sake of earning a living. It is a very sad thing for Muslim to hear, and it is somehow giving a discrimination to Muslim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in Al-Quran in Surah Al-Ahzab verse 59, the meaning is, O Prophet, enjoin your wives and your daughters and the women of the believers to fasten their garments to cover their bodies. Such a way is more suitable for them to be known, so that they are not disturbed, and Allah is of forgiving, most merciful. The legal maxim in these issues is the goal does not legitimize the means. Muzakarah National Committee Council Malaysian Islamic Religious Affairs stated that it is prohibited to follow the instruction of the employer, as what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated haram in Al-Quran cannot be changed or denied. So the employer that put a condition or asks his employee to abandon the religious order, which is the order to cover the aurat properly, then it is counted as an instruction to commit immorality to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which cannot be obeyed. Therefore, a Muslim employee cannot follow the employer's instruction that are in conflict with the religious instruction, because Sharia law should be given priority. The requirement for a Muslim to cover his aurat is obligatory and cannot be negotiated. Muslims should realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provide us halal sustenance in this world, and we as a Muslim need to keeping the trust that has been given and carrying out his duties as the Caliph of Allah on this earth. The second issue is wearing cosplay. Fatwa on this issue have been gazetted, and there are three categories of hukum wearing costumes and cosplay, which are permissible, makruh and prohibited. For permissible, Muzakarah National Committee Council Malaysian Islamic Religious Affairs stated that it is permissible to wear cosplay and costume as long as it does not contradict with Sharia law. Sometimes there are workplaces that require the worker to wear the costume of a children's cartoon, such as Upin Ipin, Bobo Boy and others, to attract the customer, especially a family with a kid, to enter their premise. It is permissible as it does not contradict with Sharia law. There are some conditions that need to be followed to be met in order to ensure that the costume and cosplay are permissible to wear, which are: first one, not extremes that cause the abandon responsibilities and obligations, not making one's dignity a joke, do not lie, and not mocking Islamic Sharia. So the legal evidence is Imam Al-Suyuti said the origin of a thing is a must until there is a proposition that points to the prohibition of the matter. Wearing costume and cosplay can be makruh if it is not beneficial and a waste of time, thus causing them to neglect to perform their duties to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The divine evidence that is in line with these issues is Al-Qardawi said, so it is not wrong for a Muslim to joke with something that can calm his heart. It is not wrong for him to entertain himself and his friends with something like entertainment. But don't make it a habit to joke all the time, because in the end it will prevent him from doing the obligatory things until he jokes at the right time. Islam never prevented its ummah from joking. Even Rasulullah SAW himself likes to joke, but the joke must have its limit and not cause a person to neglect his responsibilities as a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As an example related to this issue, entertaining children with clown costumes to the point of neglecting prayer times on the grounds that the makeup is difficult to remove, then it is become prohibited to perform it. It can be haram. Wearing costume and cosplay can be haram and forbidden if the costumes reveal the aurat. The costume and cosplay that is haram is contradicting with the Sharia law. For example, tight costume that reveal the shape of the body, improper costume, and so on. Other than that, it is also forbidden for clothing that resembles other religions, as hadith narrated by Ibnu Umar radiallahu anhu. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the meaning is, whoever resembles a race, then he is from among them. So from this hadith, it shows that there are strict prohibition and warning for anyone who resembles a disbeliever in speech, deeds, dress, celebrations, worship, and other things that are not prescribed for us. Besides, the legal maxim that can be used in this issue is that matters are determined according to intention. It is based on one's intention whether the intention to wear the costume and cosplay is good or not. However, the good intention of wearing the cosplay should be in line with wearing the costume that covers aurat. It is not encouraged for a Muslim to wear costumes and cosplay, as wearing of certain costume or cosplay is more to show off and can bring slander to Islam itself. However, it is permissible to wear costumes and cosplay if it is complied with what has been stated above. For example, if the work requires the person to wear the costume to attract customers to come to their places, and as long as it is not contradicting with the Sharia law.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Saidatul Syazwani and I will talk about the equipment. The issue that usually arises when it comes to equipment is about the equipment that been used mixed with non-halal substances. There are two fatwas that I found which related to this issue. So we take a look first on the first fatwa, which is fatwa in using non-Muslim kitchen appliances. To be shortened, the Mufti stated that it is sufficient for Muslims to just wash it before using it or to use it as usual. But if we can afford or manage to seek for another utensils that's still pure, so we should use that utensils or equipment. There's a hadith recounted by Abu Talaba al-Khushani when he asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which mean, we are neighbors with the people of the book. They used to cook pork in their pots and used to drink alcohol in their containers. Then Rasulullah replied, if you can use other utensils, then eat and drink in it. But if you can't do anything else, then wash it with water, then eat and drink. So, the genesis of the utensil legislation is sacred since non-Muslims do not abstain from filthy substances, and the cleaning command stated in the preceding hadith is circumcised. If the heavy faces has a clear and obvious function, such as pigs, it should be washed 7 times with pure water, with one of those washes using soil mixed washing water. The second fatwa is about fatwa in using food container that have been placed with pork. So basically, we all know that pigs are more impure than dogs, and it is under mughallazah faces, which are heavy types of poo found in dogs and pigs. And actually, this fatwa is also like the similar cases with the fatwa that I've already explained before this, where in Fiqh al-Manhaj, there is a reference of a law where it is necessary to utilize the former infidel based on a hadith from Abu Talaba that the Prophet ﷺ stated, wash the container and eat with it. Circumcision is the requirement to wash a container after it was contaminated by pagans who use it to drink alcohol, eat swine, and etc. Consequently, the legislation controlling their clothing and other belongings is the same as the law governing their containers. After all, according to the Mufti and other perspectives, it is permitted for us to utilize equipment that has been mingled or even used with non-halal sources, and the hukum is harus. It's simply that, as Muslims, we have to be certain to clean it first before using it, and then only use it after it's been washed. If we're still in doubt, or if we discover equipment that is still pure and clean from any non-halal sources, we are advised to use it.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Yazid. So today I will present about the facilities, and the issue is about using masjid as a place for tourism. So the first one is about the first opinion. There are three opinions when we are discussing about using masjid as a place for tourism. And the first is that entering Masjidil Haram. Most scholars has agreed that non-Muslims cannot enter Masjidil Haram, but they can enter any other masjid. This is when Surah At-Tawbah that has actually prohibits any people that actually spiritually impure to enter masjid, to enter the land of, to enter Masjidil Haram. And this has been agreed by Imam Al-Qurtubi, Imam An-Nawawi, Ibn Hazm, but has been disagreed by scholars from Hanafi Mazhab, because in their opinion that entering all non-Muslim people cannot enter all masjid, including Masjidil Haram. That is opinion in Mazhab Hanafi. So the second opinion is about, and it is permissible for non-Muslim to enter masjid other than Masjid Haram. In our Fatwa council in our country has actually agreed in using this opinion, because actually you can see, maybe not just in, but one of the places that I know is Masjid Bandaraya Kota Kinabalu has been used as a place to attract tourists. And you can see, if you go to that masjid, you will see how many tourists are taking pictures in that masjid, because that masjid has a very nice view. So this opinion actually has been agreed and has been made by Imam Shafi'i, and has been agreed by Shafi'i scholars, and has not been disagreed by Mazhab Hanafi scholars and Imam Hanafi himself. So this opinion has been made by a hadith that has been narrated by Imam Al-Bukhari, and that a person that is a non-Muslim has been tied up in a masjid, and that person actually became a Muslim because he saw the beautiness of Islam in that masjid. So that is the argument here, that it is permissible. First, it is permissible because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has did that in the past, and the second argument, it is about attracting non-Muslim to our religion. That is why it is permissible for non-Muslim to enter masjid other than Masjidil Haram. So the last opinion is, it is mentioned that it is haram for all non-Muslims to enter all masjid. Although Imam Shafi'i has disagreed because he has his own dalil. So this opinion has been made based on Surah At-Tawbah verse 18, that the mosque of Allah should be maintained by those people who believe in the last day, establish prayer and paying zakah. So based on this ayah, some of the scholars has the understanding that in one of the rule that to enter a masjid, he or she must be a Muslim. So from that, he or she that is a non-Muslim, it is haram for them to enter any other masjid. But in Malaysia, we has our Fatwa Council has actually agreed in the second opinion. So that is why in reality in Malaysia, it is permissible for us to use masjid as a place for tourism. And this opinion is actually good for Muslim, because by using a masjid as a place for tourism, we can actually attract non-Muslims to enter our religion by attracting them using our creativity and beauty of the architecture of the masjid, and by the adab and virtues that is shown in the masjid itself. Okay, so this is my last point. It is about design and decoration. So the issue in decoration and design is when people using non-halal animals as material to make a decoration, for example a vase or anything that is being used as a deco. So from if we look at Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 3, that is actually forbidden for us to consume these animals that is mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 3, like blood and swine, animal that is beaten by a fall. So in short term, in a short word, that animal that we want to use to make a decoration, or we want to make a material for decoration like a vase, it must be slaughtered. It must be slaughtered based on Islamic value, based on Islamic Sharia law lah. So it's also this, and it is actually make the same thing for food. It is not permissible for a Muslim to eat a food that has not been slaughtered based on Sharia law. So it is same for decoration. If you want to use animal that has been slaughtered not according Sharia law, it is not permissible. And it is not also permissible for a Muslim to use the bones or any other parts like or limbs in that animals that has not been slaughtered by the Sharia law. So if you want to use that animal, it must first, if you want to use the animal for decoration, or you want to use the body parts for to make a material for decoration, first the animal must be halal, and second it must be slaughtered according to Sharia law. So as conclusion, I want to say here that it is not easy for a mufti or for a scholar to make a fatwa, because they need to understand the thing, So for example, if they want to make fatwa about a decoration, so they must understand what is decoration, what is a decoration, what is the meaning of decoration. They must understand the essence of decoration. They must have a little knowledge about how decoration is, about how a decoration is made, what is the issue in decoration here. So, and then after understanding about decoration, they need to refer into the Quran and the Hadith, and to other sources, like ijma, to other sources, so like maybe ijma from scholars before them, or maybe they can use qiyas as a reference, as a source in making fatwa. So it is not easy for a scholar to actually make a fatwa. So because there is no fatwa without using understanding in a very high level about a subject, and understanding in a very high level about a Quran and a Sunnah. So as a Muslim, we must not take lightly about the fatwa that has been given by a scholar, because fatwa, maybe we can have a lot of definition, but simply fatwa, I can say, is about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want you to do this and this and this and this. That is fatwa. The scholars actually telling the Muslims what Allah wants them to do. That is the simple word for fatwa. So that is all from us. Thank you.